Hi, I'm Judy Griffin with Aroma Health Texas, and today we're going to continue a series that looks at using aromas to help change emotions. And these are actually attitudes and learned conditions. It's a lot different from I'm going to use some aromatherapy and relax, or meditate, or go to sleep. This is very different. These are primal fears. Last week we did fear of death, and this week we're doing fear of loss. These are almost inherited, you could say, in a sense, from our environment, and being a human being, we're going to naturally fear death to some extent. If not in our heart, it's in our brain. These kinds of emotions, or their fears, they're very, very poignant, and they're stored in the brain by the time you're 3 years old, in the amygdala of the brain, where our emotions are, and they are not remembered. So to say I'm not afraid of death, or I'm not afraid of loss, that's a conscious action and decision, and I agree. But it's not what's going on in that amygdala of the brain. It's like bringing your ancestry into your life. And those fears can be changed, but they are crystallized in the system, in the nervous system, if you can imagine that. So it's not like simply washing it away or sniffing something and it's going to go away. So we're going to come in and use the Petit Fleur essences that I've been doing in hospitals for 45 years with other aromas, and I'll show you how I work with that. Because fear of death is just very personal, okay? Fear of death is, I'm afraid, myself, of my own death. Fear of loss can be many other things. It can include loved ones. It can be triggered by loss of job, or fear of that, concern of that. All these are part of what goes on in this ancient part of the brain that deals with loss, that we're going to work with today. In hospitals, obviously, I was working with people who had had operations and lost parts of themselves, their physical body, and people who were losing loved ones. And then you take it into the office and work with people who were losing jobs. Some people simultaneously, many things are going on that are lost, and it's hitting them from all sides, personal as far as yourself, and maybe career, and even partnership or a marriage or something like that. It can all happen sometimes at once. So what we're going to do is make a few different blends. Last week I just showed you a blend with the flower essences using essential oil. This time we're going to do two different kinds of blends. One is like the one we used to use with the carrier oil base, and the same balanced ratio. And the other one we're going to use in a dram bottle, and if you ever need these caps or droppers, you let us know. I don't know that it's on the website, but get in touch with me and we can get some out to you. But we put them in here, and this is not going to be a dilution, which is another reason why it's going to be in a small bottle. It is going to be the flower essences and kind of catalyzed by using an essential oil. Remember, essential oils are heating, they're driving, they're moving, and they quickly move out of the body within 2 hours. So then we have the Petit Fleur essences, or Petit Fleurs, that help us retain that flow of energy to work on certain emotions and fears. So let's get started. This gets heavy, but The idea you'll get it and be able to use it in any part of your life or your experiences. So I'm going to start with a dram bottle, and I'm going to start with a base type, oops, that's not the one I wanted, a base type essential oil, not essential oil, but a petite fluorescence. And because this is a concentrate, I am not going to use the 6, 15, 9 drops. I will on the other blend for you, but this one is different. This is more like I use therapeutically. So I'm going to use 3 times more. I'm going to use 18 drops. Sorry, I gotta count. Hold on. Okay, and this is vanilla. This is the vanilla petite fleur essence. This has some essential oil in it, but again, it's a glycerin, vegetable glycerin type extraction. Most vanilla essential oil is diluted, and it's if you pay a very high price for it, very, very high, then you probably are getting the good quality. But vanilla essential oil it's not an oil, it's an absolute, and it is a solid material that has to be diluted out. So we are just using the vanilla petite fleur essence, which works on security. And if you're feeling fears and loss, something like the vanilla petite fleur would be excellent as a base. I'm not saying that essential oil of vanilla is going to give people the same exact thing, because you're looking at chemical properties of essential oils or flower essences or something else. It's all a little bit different. So we're using this, and this is of course very much less expensive. And then we're going to go to peppermint. Peppermint is the flower essence, the petite fleur, that I use for fear of loss. And to me, it is like a primal fear. It comes in many times in your life experiences. It's going to take a minute. We're going to use 45 drops. We used 18 of the vanilla, which is 3 times the 6 drops we would normally use in a blend. That is going to be a dilution. This is not going to be a dilution. Now the peppermint petite fleur, the flower essence, or what we call a flower essence, they're really enfleurages. They're much stronger than what we normally call flower essences. It has some scent, and it's good, so does the vanilla, but it's not overwhelming. And I find that this very often is good for a lot of people who don't really want the big peppermint scent. You don't want to walk around your job smelling like a peppermint patty or something, like a stick. So it's subtle, it lasts longer, and the body is picking up the magnetic energy, which we call a vibration or a signature of the plant. And how you process a plant, how it's grown, what soil it's grown in, that all makes a difference in what the quality and what you get in your product. And we're going to top this off. Our vanilla was a base, these are essences. Our peppermint was the middle part, the heart part, and this is going to be, this is going to be our top note, and it's ginger root. You want your top note to just really come out and grab the person. And we're going to use 18 drops. So when you're using a flower essence with some essential oil, you don't need to keep it for overnight or the next day or 3 weeks. We're not making a perfume. We're making more of a healing medicinal blend. You know, you might let it have a few turns to get it mixed. It's ready to go. And one of my friends is like, well, explain, what do we do with it once we have this ready? So, yeah, that's good. I can smell the vanilla, I can smell the peppermint, and I certainly can smell the ginger. And the ginger is more of an exciting type of smell. So we have the sedation of the vanilla, the bringing out the courageous peppermint with a very stout smell, and then we have ginger root, which really it's quite the high note. It's quite odorous, so it's very stimulating too, and we want that. So now my blend is ready, and I'm going to take just a few drops and put it on the wrist. You know, the ancient acupuncturist had a place right here on the wrist, a point, an acupuncture point, and it's still used, and it's called Highway to Joy. I love that. I'm not an acupuncturist, but I certainly work with essences and that with acupuncture people and points, and we can do that, pressure points too. And so we're going for that joy. You don't have to just put it there. As long as the skin is unbroken, you're good. You don't want to put anything on your eyes or near your eyes, of course. But it's real easy, and I like to put it on the carotids areas because it goes directly to my brain and right away. And this is a nice wake up, feel good scent. Another thing I did in hospitals is they said, well, you can't put it on skin because that's where chemotherapy detoxifies for people. Like, okay, you asked me to do this, and now you're telling me we can't put it anywhere. But yeah, I'm glad they told me, because there's a point in Ayurvedic or some, I don't know where I found it, but where you just take a drop and you put it on the inner ear, not inside the ear hole, but in the inner ear. There is a point there, right where the curve comes, and right under that curve, on the right side is where it hooks up with 5 major nerve ganglia going to the brain. So we're getting the message there. We are shouting out that we are no longer going to be working with fear of loss. Now, we're going to have to put a label on this, which I don't have ready right now, and I want to jump into the next one. I hope that clarifies something. With essential oils, it may not be used exactly the same way. You work out your own way and experiment and find out. But I would be hesitant to put some essential oils directly on the skin in the first place. So we're going to use a dilution, and this is argan oil. Any carrier oil that is good that you like on your skin. And we're going to start, this is going to be more like an essential oil blend, because I know a lot of you are more into that. So this is going to be more essential oils, but we're still going to include the Petit Fleur Enfleurage essence that will help people definitely work on fear of loss in the brain. Now, I've done this 45 years in clinical and hospital positions, and I know it works. I know it works. Okay, so we're going to start with cedar wood because it's a great base and it works. Woodsy things work well with peppermint. We haven't really talked about peppermint too much, but it's very bold. And there's really not a lot of blending going on. You're almost finding your place where, you know, peppermint can still broadcast its very stout and important odor, and you have some support there. And so these are going to be really supporting essential oils. And we're going to use the same ratio we have before with essential oils. This is cedar. Peppermint goes well with woodsy. You can use sandalwood. You can use whatever one you like. And I wouldn't use sandalwood because it's so expensive. And I love the smell of it, and really you'll never smell it with peppermint. You'll only smell peppermint, which that's just the nature of peppermint. And that's good. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in some drops, let's say 6, well, no, maybe just 4 drops of the peppermint enfleurage essence that we make that definitely works with fear of loss. And then we're going to use some other ones. First one we're going to use is the real peppermint, what you call the real peppermint, which is the essential oil. It's very strong. It has many properties. It can relax people. It can energize people. It works for headaches. It works for so many different things. Some women use it for hot flashes. It distracts the brain. And in the meantime, you can let down and relax or energize and start your day. This blend you will make according to how you want to use peppermint, okay? So I'm just going to use 4 drops. And it's not going to be quite as odorous as if I used 15 drops. You can do that. You may just want to do the cedar wood and then peppermint and a top note. But I thought we'd blend it for different things and talk about it for a few minutes. This is clove, and clove is the greatest antioxidant in essential oils. It's one of the greatest antioxidants, period. It is an antioxidant, just takes care of free radical damage and free radicals roaming around in your body causing illness and dismay. So we're going to put just a couple drops of clove. Clove is another very odorous essential oil, but it goes well with peppermint. And if you can see where we're going with this, we're making a very immune blend that can be good for sinuses. It can be good for headaches. It can be good for lots of different reasons. And the next one I'm going to use is eucalyptus. And, oops, I don't know what's that. Eucalyptus is good for breathing. It's good for other things. It's good for low back pain. It has a lot of properties to it. But in this blend, it's going to be from the chest up we're working. So now we're getting to where we can open up the chest and help the person breathe. We gave 4 drops of that. And all we need now is a top note. I just want to smell it. And that's really nice. I picked spiked lavender because spiked lavender is the one that works with the immune system the most. And a lot of the research that was done about what lavender does for the body was done on spike lavender, especially when it relates to the immune system, to earaches. We don't put it in the ear, but you can certainly rub it on each side of the ear. Helps to promote drainage. It's a letdown aroma, meaning it helps relaxation. With that, tension, circulation gets better, and it's a great immune enhancer. And we're going to use 9 drops of that. I almost got it. And this one, the only thing is you're not going to smell as much lavender as maybe you'd like because of the strong peppermint and eucalyptus. You could use lemon. I wouldn't use lemongrass. I'd use lemon peel, because that's a very antimicrobial type of, antibacterial type of essential oil. So that would be good here, and you would smell the lemon a little bit better than the spike lavender. We could also put spike lavender with a few drops of lemon. And that wouldn't hurt to put that in here even right now. And we're going to let this sit. We've got it already numbered or with a date, and this was my peppermint fear of loss blend. That's how I'm going to recognize it. And I'm going to let it sit for at least a few days. If you're in just a real big emergency, overnight, 3 hours, whatever you could. And this one, this is a blend that you can wear on the body. You want to keep it away from unbroken skin or broken skin. And depending on where you're using it, you could use this kind of blend for pain also. If you had a backache or shoulder hurting or neck or something. But you could also use it as an immune stimulant, which is what I'm doing. And for that, I would go chest up, because really your lungs are the grandfather of your immune system. So you want to especially use that area, whether you put a few drops here at the lower part of the lungs. If it's somebody could put it on your back, it'd be a little bit hard for you to get back there, but you could do it, especially if it's somebody that might get it in their eyes, or you're going to go to sleep afterwards. You don't want it where you would get it in your eyes. You could put it on your neck, the bottom of your, what is that, the décolleté or something. You can put it on your wrist if you like. I have worked with people that couldn't handle a lot of scent, and they had or had certain conditions where I couldn't just put it on any point in their skin, and I put it on the bottom of their feet. That's a different kind of skin. It's not as sensitive, and they got it right away. It travels very quickly. Remember, essential oils are volatile, so they're going to go up. So wherever you put it, it's going to go up from there. And I can just hardly wait to hear your questions. And if you'll like, share, subscribe, and send me your questions. I'm interested. I'll see you again next week with more to work on. Bye-bye.